Big up yourself. Hi guys, welcome. I hope everybody can hear me okay. How's everyone doing? Let me just see. If you are new, please do hit the like button. I see 4 people in here so far. So we'll just wait for more people to come in. You guys can already see I've got a special guest today. So you can't hear me, okay. Oh, 1 second. Is anyone else having issues hearing me? That's so weird. Can anyone hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? You can hear me now. Right, okay, so we're good to go. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to my channel if you are new. So I've got a special guest today. I'm really excited. We're still talking about Backchat London because it is still an ongoing conversation from Wednesday's explosive episode. Everybody is still talking about it. So I've got ADEFOLAKE or Folake. That's probably how she likes to be called on today. And yeah, I'm really excited because she was an explosive episode, guys. And yeah, so if you guys have questions, make sure that you get your questions in. I'm going to be reading out the comments, so I want it to be as interactive. You guys already know from the lives I like it to be interactive because I do these lives because you lot request for it. So I want it to be as interactive as possible. So if you are in, hey Rosa Amina, drop a comment, let me know what's good. Hit the like button and make sure that you subscribe. I'm going to bring her in and then we're going to get into this conversation. And yeah, let's get in. Ask her why she was coughing. Whoa. Okay.
Not surprised.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. Ami?
Yeah, I'm you. Yeah, man. Go for it. Folake, right?
Yeah, so Folake is fine.
Folake is
I
good.
don't like ADEFOLAKE because I like to call the full name, you know, the full blessing. But I let people call me Folake because it's just easier.
Nah, I call you ADEFOLAKE. We can do this, you know.
Yeah,
okay,
cool. My closest friends and family, they call me Folake, so it's
yeah. All right, okay. So how are you anyway? How are you? How was your day?
Good. No, I'm good. I got my 2nd dose of the vaccination today.
Really?
I'm supposed to be feeling all wonky, but I'm fine.
Really? How was the first time?
I didn't have any symptoms, so maybe I'm just one of those people that are just cool. But I posted it on my story, and a bunch of people have been coming at me like, aren't you worried about mutations? Why are you doing the vaccination and everything? Are you getting yours?
I should be. I haven't got it yet. To be honest, I'm waiting. I'm one of those people that's just like, I mean, I keep getting like, you need to get this done, but
How do you feel about it though? How do you feel about getting it?
I just feel like I just need to understand it more. Like, I feel like because there was so many different ones, it was just kind of like, okay, but which one is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, which one is the real one? Like, but I think eventually we're all going to end up having to get it anyway.
Yeah. So my mom's a healthcare worker, so everyone in my household kind of got it fast tracked.
Okay.
So that's why I've done mine.
Was you nervous?
Very. Oh my gosh, I was, and I'm
what
still
was
nervous.
Your thought process? Like, what was making you nervous?
No, I'm nervous about the aftermath. Like, I'm nervous now that it's been done. I don't want any weird symptoms that are gonna follow me. That's what I'm scared about. So
yeah,
all this news about mutations, people under 30 reacting badly to it, and all that. I'm just like, please,
I know all the conspiracy theories and stuff. But you know what? It was interesting because I read a comment where someone was like, we get the flu jab like every year and we don't know what's in it.
True. I've never done the flu jab though.
Really?
No. Never did it.
I have, and even like traveling, then like there's certain jabs that you have to do, and you're just like, okay, yeah, I just do it. But with this, it's like that everybody's very skeptical about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's just something that we need to educate ourselves a bit more on. Is that my background noise or?
I think so. I think so. Can you? It's like a
Hello?
thing. Yeah. Hello.
That's so weird. Can anyone else hear that?
So it's when you speak.
That is so weird. That's never happened before.
It's not happening now. Stopped. It didn't happen just then.
I know. Anyways, I hope you guys can hear us okay. Okay, so let's get into this topic that we're going to be talking about, because you came in at an explosive episode.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I was in the first episode as well.
Yeah, but this one was like, yeah, and you were, for me, one of the cast members that is one of my favorites, because I think being on the show, you have to be vocal, and you've come in, you've made your point, and this episode, like I said earlier, everybody's still talking about it, even though it was like a few days ago, like gone. Mainly because of the comment, obviously, that Emmanuel made, and you made some comments as well that we're gonna get into as well, and we're gonna talk about. But
yes, please, let's unpack it all.
Say that again.
I said, yeah, let's get into it. Let's unpack it all.
Let's get into it. But just tell us a little bit about ADEFOLAKE. Like, who is she? Because I know you do some presenting, right, and producing. Yeah. Quite big in Lagos. You've done quite a lot of things in Lagos.
Yeah.
I don't think many people know that about you.
Yeah, so most of the work I've done in the entertainment industry has been in Lagos. I've done presenting, acting, producing. I used to work for a company called Wedding Channel Africa, which had syndicated shows across the nation on Ebony Live, Silverbird, and everything. So I produced shows there, and I also hosted a weekly show on there, and I did some freelancing stuff too. Another side branch of what I do is script writing. So during this whole COVID thing, because I have family here and there, I've always been back and forth. I never spend more than a year in one country. So I'm always back and forth. Because I had a lot of family here and other personal reasons I didn't want to like get into too much, but I found myself in England. And I found myself here for a long period of time. I started just doing mainly freelance script writing. So for the past year and some, that's been my main job, as well as online content created. I'm huge on TikTok. I love TikTok. I love messing around. I started off just messing around, and then people started liking it. So
yeah, because you've got a funny side to you.
Very actually more playful than serious, but you can't see that side on Backchat. Like, you're not going to see that side. The cast members see that side behind the scenes, but when they call action, is action. It's go time. So
yeah, I can see that.
You can see it on my socials and stuff like that, because that's really mainly what I do on my YouTube as well.
Yeah, so you're mainly a TikToker.
No, I'm gonna just say I'm a content creator.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I saw you did like a family tag. So you've got 2 siblings, right?
Yeah. 2 siblings.
How did they feel about you being on Backchat? Like, what was their reaction? Did they watch it?
I think everyone's first reaction is always like, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah. So at first they're shocked. They're like, are you sure? And then they're like, okay, it's you. Actually, it's kind of up your street, because literally all I do all day is shout my opinions at everyone in this household. Especially during lockdown, where everyone was together. I used to live alone, but during lockdown I came home and I was in the family house with everyone, and they were like, actually Backchat is very much right up your street, and everyone in my family thinks I'm very radical. Thinking. So they were like, okay, I see why you like it. I've always been a fan of the show. I used to make everyone, all my friends, family, watch it. And but I was living in Lagos at the time, so I always used to be like, if I was in London, I'll be on that show. If I was in London, I would want to be on that show. That's always what I used to say. And then I just happened to be in London around the time they were doing the audition, so I was like, okay, let me try it out.
Go for it, yeah.
Let me go for it. So yeah.
And was it quite easy to go in, or?
So for me, it was more. I had a mutual friend that has been on the show before. So I had a friend who had a mutual friend that had been on the show. So he kind of like, I kind of reached out and was like, are they going to shoot for Backchat? And he was like, oh, actually they are. They're going to do auditions very soon, so you should look out for that. And I was like, oh, let me know when they're doing the auditions. I didn't follow the Backchat World Instagram page. I only followed them on YouTube, so I never saw when the audition process came out.
Yeah.
So I DM'd him again, and I was like, oh, he never got back to me about Backchat. And he was like, did nobody contact you? And I was like, no one contacted me. And then I quickly got a DM from their casting director saying, are you free tomorrow for an audition? And I was like, wow. So that's how I would have missed my audition if I didn't say anything. So for those of you that are thinking, oh, should I push? Should I be a go-getter? Go for it. Because if I didn't message her at that time, I probably wouldn't have been able to audition because I missed the first round of auditions. So
wow. So you skipped right into the second round.
Yeah, I got invited to the second round because I just gave that extra push. Like, is it still happening? No one got back to me. So yeah, that's
wow, that's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys, because I think something's wrong with my sound, but I don't know what the problem is because it's never happened before.
You're using an external mic, right?
No, I don't. I don't have anything connected.
I don't know.
But it's every time I talk.
Yeah.
That is so weird. Let me close everything. That's so weird, but I hope you guys can still hear me okay. Just let me know anyway in the comments, and then if it gets too much. Okay, so I want everyone to get to know you a little bit more before we dive proper into the topic. Because I feel like sometimes when you're on the show, it's like people make up their mind and it might just not be, yeah, and it might even be based on a thing that you say. It might be just based on the one episode and they just run with it. But there's so much to you that I think it's important.
I'm capping, I'm lying, which I find hilarious because it's like, why would you don't know me? Like, how would you know what's the truth and what's not the truth? It's really funny.
Exactly.
Like if a family member says I'm lying, I could be like, okay, but strangers telling you you're lying, it's kind of funny.
Wow. Okay, so earlier you were saying that you're quite a radical person. You're quite outspoken, clearly, being on the show.
Not really in my actions.
Okay. So I heard something through the grapevine that you are a Kevin Hart lover.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So what's your opinion about, you loving Kevin Hart so much? What's your opinion about a woman making the first move? Like if you saw Kevin and then you was like, right, I'm gonna go for it. What's your belief on that?
Kevin is a married man with kids. He's a family man. What did you say? What are you setting me up for right now?
Just hypothetically, what's your opinion on women making the first move?
So because I grew up in Nigeria, mostly, it's not something that's done there at all because the men out there are extremely aggressive in the way they they're very aggressive. When they want you, they let it be known, and if you reject them, they continue letting it be known that they will wait for you to be ready. So there's never really a need to really shoot your shot. I've never felt the need, but spending more time in London, I think the guys out here are a lot more laid back. Like they're not really like going for it. So you kind of have to. So what I do when it comes to making the first move, I'm more of a strategic positioning person. Okay. So I'd rather put myself in the right place to be approached.
Yeah. Like make yourself seen, kind of thing.
Eye contact as well. That's one thing, but I'm not really going to be I'm not going to go up to anyone and be like, hi, my name's Falake, I think you're cute. And like, nah,
No.
I can't shoot.
Okay,
Like,
so you're like,
it's
no, women. Okay, fair enough.
The women that can do it. I envy the women that do it. But
so you think like women should be able to do it?
In some circumstances, yeah. I mean, why not? Why not? In some circumstances, it works. Like, I've seen women shoot their shots, slide in DMs, and things work out, you know? I even feel like even dating apps is kind of like making the first move as well. Like, women make the first move a lot on dating apps, and I've seen people have great relationships on dating apps. So at first, I always used to feel like no, men are the chasers and women are supposed to be caught. Like, so yeah, it's not going to work. But my mind is kind of changing on that a little bit. But I still personally haven't worked up the courage to be that forward to actually move to a guy, because I feel like I'm supposed to be moved to. Like, guys are supposed to move to me.
Yeah. I completely am with you on that. So what's the
question back at you?
Oh, what do I think about that? Do you know what? For me, I feel like I'm with you. Like, I don't mind giving the eye, or you know, like I would. Okay, let's say if the guy was at the bar, maybe I might go to the bar, and then kind of only if the vibe was there, and I'll go to the bar.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be strategic, but I would never be like, yo, can I have your number? Like, no, but I will make myself available. Huh?
I'll be like, come and walk to a guy, can I buy you a drink?
Yeah. No, but yeah, like you, I would make myself available and make myself be seen, you know. Smile, eye contact, yeah, all that. I would do that. So what's the difference then with, because you said the UK guys compared to Nigerians are a bit more laid back. Is that mainly the only difference, or is there like a massive?
I think it's mainly that. I think UK guys like want to be chased almost. They're also not persistent and they fear rejection a lot. Like, if you say no to a UK guy, they're just gonna take that and they won't talk to you again. Like, if you give them attitude the first time, they're not coming back. But if you give a Nigerian guy attitude, that's not the last time you see him.
He's like, oh, I like the attitude.
It doesn't shake them. It doesn't shake them off.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
They'll move to you, and if you shake them off, they'll move to your friend. Your friend will shake them off, then you move. Like,
wow. So that's Nigerian men. Right, she is spilling the tea on Nigerian men right now.
Yeah. It's
wow.
Like there.
Okay. So you spill a little bit more tea as well on the cast members. Your first impressions on your YouTube. So would you still have the same opinion now, like being on there, like a few episodes in, spending time with them? Has your opinion changed at all with any of them, or is it still the same?
So the thing is, I'm a very good judge of character. I can usually suss people out from the moment I meet them. So with that, I was pretty much right with everyone when I first met them. But a lot of I'm closer to people that I didn't think I would be as close to. It's really weird, but it's still really early days for us. But the people that I'm closer to, I didn't think I'd be that close to them. Like Lani, I didn't think that me and Lani would get along as well as we do.
Yeah.
And me and Lani are really, really cool. Monty scared me when I first met her, but she's actually a sweetheart. The boys, that's J Squared and A Millie, NK, all those guys. They are very respectful towards me. They like NK started calling me auntie, then the others, like, apparently
really
one of the aunties, I can tell you. So I was like, okay, that's what's happening here. But yeah, they're very playful. We play a lot behind the scenes as well. I have a lot of vlogs that I'm going to be putting on my YouTube channel to see how things are kind of behind the scenes and the kind of conversations we have behind the scenes as well, because we talk a lot. Like, the conversations we have on set are very, very like aggressive, but the ones we have behind the scenes are a little bit more lighthearted and fun, but they're still like quite interesting. So I have a look at that footage as well that I'm going to put out on my channel. So those watching, make sure you subscribe if you want to see some BTS. But
yes, plug yourself in, guys. Yeah, she's got ADEFOLAKE has a YouTube channel as well, so you guys go ahead and subscribe to her channel. Really good content on there. Okay, so because I watched the video that you done, spilling the tea on the class members, and you kind of just gave like 1 word, 2 words. Was you kind of like trying to be a little bit careful, not to say too much, or was you just leaving it open?
Because this was before anything came out, so I didn't want to like talk too much about anyone because I wanted the viewers to just make their own first impressions of everyone. So I only just wanted to say 1 or 2 words. Like I can't go into detail about everyone's character because you will all see it at the end of the day. So that would be like a spoiler. I'm not giving out spoilers, you know.
Fair enough. So you mentioned that on the set it's quite heated, and then obviously behind when it's a little bit more chilled, a little bit more. Do you think like all the cameras and like the lighting and setting like that adds to the intensity of the discussion? So when all that gets taken away, it brings a little bit of lightness to it.
So the producers are very, very smart. Yeah, it's a very the way it's shot, there are no cuts, there are no edits. You shoot for 45 minutes and they put out 45 minutes. So everybody wants a chance to speak. There are 10 people on set. Do you understand? Everyone wants a chance to get their point across. So within that 45 minutes, we all have to say something, and you can see it in everyone, like they are ready to talk, like they're just waiting for that moment to just go for it. So I think that's what makes it so intense. Like whereas when we're talking normally, there's no one timing us, there's no cameras on us, there's no one's fighting to get their point across. It's just more of a back and forth. But with backchat shooting, there's a time limit for what you can say, and you kind of have to keep quiet when someone's speaking. You can't speak over each other, and there are times where we start speaking over each other and it's just ruining everything. So we always have to think like, okay, we have to work together and let this person finish before you start speaking. And I think that's what makes it really intense, because for me it was a shock, because we're all laughing, we're all playing, and then as soon as they call action, no one's laughing anymore.
Yeah. Is that why people are just shouting all the time?
Okay. Yeah.
Is that why people are shouting all the time? Because that's what it's like. A lot of people kind of know it for. It's like people just shouting. Like, to be honest, sometimes when I'm watching an episode, I feel drained.
I don't think there's ever a time I've made a point on that show where my voice is not raised. I don't think there's a time where I'm speaking where my voice isn't raised. I can't lie.
You know what? My favorite. Say that again.
You kind of have to put it across aggressively, otherwise somebody will speak over you.
I think one of my favorite parts was when you're like, "Well, that guy's speaking. That guy wasn't speaking." I was like,
no, because
I love that.
Okay, so in that episode, the reason I was like, I want to speak, it became like the Guardian Emmanuel show, the NK and Emmanuel show. It's just like, are we having a discussion? Like, I've made a point, I would like to elaborate on it. I've heard Emmanuel's point. I would like to speak to him and understand why his views are so rigid, and explain to him why I feel like he needs to kind of loosen up his views a bit more. But we weren't able to do that, and that's why I commented under your video. I said your review was really good, because you were able to see that we really didn't make a conclusion from that episode, and I feel like it's a waste when we sit there for the 45 minutes and we can't come to like some kind of ending or agreement. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like we don't have to change anybody's opinion, but at least let everybody kind of understand where each other's coming from, instead of trying to it almost seemed like everyone was just trying to catch Iman out in his words. Every little thing he says.
For sure.
picking him apart. And it felt like, okay, so I've said this quite a lot, but when I'm on set, I'm focusing more on the point and less on people's emotions. So I want to answer the question, and I want to go into the point, and I want to talk about the circumstances and the things around the point and around the question, and then go deeper into why I have my views, and then listen to everybody else's views. But when you're watching it, you can now really see everyone's faces. You can see how people are handling the situation, and you view it a lot different than you do when you're actually in it. Watching it back, I actually felt very uncomfortable. I didn't like the way Iman was being attacked. I didn't like it at all. I actually asked him that question because I thought he was going to. So, would you go to your son's wedding? I thought he was going to.
Yeah, because that's where it kind of started, isn't it?
Yeah, I
well, actually, yeah. Sorry to cut you. I think it started when you used the word deceitful. I think that's what kind of opened up the kind of word. It was like, because from that moment, that word was literally like taken throughout to the end.
I got attacked for using that word, but now what people didn't understand about me saying the child was being deceitful. I wasn't saying the child was being deceitful because the child was gay. I was saying the child was being deceitful because the child was inviting over a significant other without
letting you know.
Without letting me know. Now, when you hear words like deceit, I think people feel like there's gonna now be like extreme consequences to deceit. No, doesn't mean I'm going to now give my child the biggest punishment in the world for being deceitful. I'm just calling his actions what it is. Do you understand? Like, why is there a problem calling something exactly what it is? It's deceitful. Lying, sneaking around, and giving a false impression is literally what deceit is. So that doesn't mean that I'm going to now, axe my son because they were being deceitful. No. So I come from a household where we're very close. We were raised close. There was no there was no point trying to sneak around. There was no point trying to be sneaky because my parents will find out. We had open communication. If I wanted to do something, the best thing for me to do is to tell them and beg to be allowed to do it, because there's no sneaking around in my household. I will be called out for the deceit. You do understand? I will be called out. So it's better to just have the conversation, convince, even if I have to make a PowerPoint presentation to explain to my parents why I want to do what I'm going to do. It's better than lying.
Yeah. Do you think culture has like adds to it, like in terms of, I know sometimes with the African culture or Nigerians, they're very like you say things like, and it's not personal. Like I remember, just a quick story, all like aunties would be like, you're getting fat, you know, like they use words like just like that, and it's not offensive. And I don't know what it's like with Jamaicans, maybe, and it's like certain words just don't use, but it doesn't matter whether you're a kid or whatever, they'll just say certain words because that's just how they are, you know.
Definitely. I've gotten to a point now where I started calling out aunties for being that way, and calling out my parents for being that way. Like, if my dad wants to body shame or my aunties want to body shame, I'll be like, excuse me, you don't call people fat. Don't tell me that I'm gain weight. Don't greet me with that.
Well, they wouldn't even see it as body shaming. They wouldn't see it as that is the term for it.
And I understand, but I feel like we need to let them understand us too. Like, we can't just let people be stuck in their ways, and that's why it would have been nice to have a better conversation with Iman, because Iman, although he looks like a big man, and yes, maybe because he's a father already, Iman's young. Iman is young. He's not even 30 yet. Do you understand? So I was so shocked that his views were so archaic. Personally, I was really surprised. I thought that he wouldn't be as rigid as he was. So that's where the shock really came from for me. When it comes to like the culture thing, my parents aren't that strict. They're pretty young, and they lived here, so they're not that strict. But culture does always play a part. So in the same episode, a lot of things came up, like why are you even going through your child's phone that's sneaking around? A 16-year-old child?
Mm-hmm.
You can go through a 16-year-old child's phone. I remember when I was 16 years old, if my mother went through my phone, my first thought is never to say, "Mommy, why are you snooping?" My first thought is, "Oh, damn,
Yeah, 100%.
my dad, oh, I shouldn't have left my phone." Like, I'm the one that messed up for leaving my phone in a place where my mom could go through it, because I always felt like it was her right. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
she paid the bills. Do you understand?
Exactly.
So,
And at 16, you're probably only getting to that stage where maybe you start taking up your own phone, or because I don't think you have a contract at that age, so your parents would have been paying for the phone. So yeah, I mean, for me at that age, you're a kid, like you're still a child,
yeah,
and that's that. There's nothing abnormal about a parent going through a 16-year-old's phone to me, anyway.
and there's nothing about
You said
it.
something that kind of strikes me that maybe you want to elaborate on. You said something about you shouldn't have a kid, like if you can't, you shouldn't be having children, like if you can't accept who they are.
Yeah.
Do you stand on that, or like just elaborate a little bit more on that?
100%. Oh, 100%. I stand on everything I said in that episode. The only thing I don't stand on is the way Iman was attacked. I wish that we could have had a better conversation. But in terms of like my opinions and I stand by them. Children they come as who they are, and we all have to remember that. I'm not saying that environmental and how you mold a child isn't a part of their upbringing. Of course it is, but they come with their own views. They come with their own passions. They come with what they like and what they don't like. You can't have a child look at the child and say, "You're going to be my doctor." What if they get to school and they don't know science? Like, what? Are you going to now disown that child and be disappointed if they want to have a different career path? Like, do you understand? And I feel like that's a mistake that a lot of our parents made. And I'm surprised that everyone is just okay with the fact that it's like that. It should not be like that. You should not have a child and force them to just be an extension of yourself. That's not how it works. The child's going to come and have their own beliefs sometimes, have their own way of thinking, and have their own, in some cases, sexuality. Now, I'm not saying that anyone goes home and prays to have a gay child. Do you understand? No one prays for. I wouldn't pray for that, but that's basically because of the struggles that come with being gay, not because of the fact that they're gay, but there's the struggles that come with it, and nobody really wants their child to struggle. So that's why the last thing I would do, knowing the struggles that gay people go through, is add to a gay child's struggle by not accepting them. Do you understand? That's the last thing I would do as a parent, and that's what I wanted to try and explain to Emmanuel in the episode, but I couldn't, obviously, because Godia and Emmanuel are having a fist fight. But yeah, do you understand?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it was a strong statement, because I feel like there's so many things that make people inadequate in terms of parenting. When we're talking about homosexuality, it's something that I think affects both parties. Obviously, the child is going through it, and one of the things that I was mentioning in my review is at that age they're still so young as well, and it's like, have they even fully accepted themselves that they're gay? Because when I hear a lot of stories of people that's come out, they're still fighting it. At what point have you accepted it yourself? You're like, why hasn't that child spoken to their parent? And for that parent as well, like, it would be like a shock. I think to say maybe like you shouldn't be having kids, like, I thought, like, to me, I was like, that is wild. Like, that is wild, because you've been in a place where you feel like maybe it's taking time to accept it. Doesn't take away your love for that child. It just means that you just need to have a conversation and go on that journey with that child. You know what I mean? People that neglect children.
But how can you go on a journey with a child? How can you go on that journey with the child if you are going to make the journey more difficult because of your rigid views, because you can't adjust your way of thinking? How are you going to go on that journey with that child? You're just going to make that journey harder for that child.
Yeah, the journey is going to be hard. Yeah, the journey is going to be tough anyway. I think in Emmanuel's position, in his defense a little bit. I think because he never, there's some parents that would fully like disown their kids, like that's it. Like it's not even that you can do whatever you want. It's like, now I'm disowning you. I think the fact that he never said that he would disown kids, it, to me, it's like there's still room to have that journey. Like even though it's going to be tough in the beginning, because somebody's going to have to be like, right, I want to actually make it easier, and it's going to be the parent has to do that because they're the parent. They're the one that's going to have to bring down their views. But I think eventually it's a natural reaction to have, to be like, well, my belief, my God, like everything kind of comes first. But then they have to realize that actually the love has to override all of that. But that would take time. Like that's natural.
Personally, I think it needs to. Look, the whole thing with Emmanuel, yeah, he's not here to defend himself. And I did sit down with him, and he's said a whole lot, and I've realized that we're never going to agree on this topic.
Yeah.
not anytime soon, anyway. But he, what was I saying? Yeah, so the main thing about not attending your child's wedding, yeah, is it says a lot. You can say with your mouth, I accept you. You can say with your mind that, okay, I accept you. But when your actions aren't showing it, it speaks a lot louder for your child and for the people around your child. Now, let me just give you a little bit of backstory for me personally. The way I was raised in knowing that my house is a safe haven. My parents grew me up, letting me know that nothing happening outside is more important than what's happening inside the home. Yeah, inside the family. And that's how I've navigated life. Everywhere I've gone, everything I've done, I've always known I have a safe space. That's when I'm dating a guy. That's when I'm making friendships. That's when I'm in school. Nobody can treat me anyhow because I know I always have a safe place to go back to. Do you understand? There's nothing you can hold over. Okay. So when you have a child and you don't go to your child's wedding, you've already told that family that child is marrying into that they don't have anywhere to go back to if things go bad. Now, you don't wish a marriage to go bad for any child, but life is life, yeah? You don't want a situation where your child is in a bad place, a bad state, and there's no safe haven. Do you understand? He put a question at me. He said, okay, let's remove homosexuality from it. If your child was marrying somebody you don't approve with, or you don't approve of, are you going to go to that wedding? That's more reason for me to go to that wedding, because I don't approve of that person. That is why that marriage probably isn't going to last. I probably don't approve of that person because I have the foresight that my child doesn't have. And my presence needs to be seen. And that person needs to know that, look, I'm here to back my child no matter what. So anything that's happening within your marriage, you better be proving me wrong here. That's why I'm showing up. Do you understand? You've got to show up for your kids. You've got to be there for them, no matter what your beliefs is, no matter what this world is difficult. When you bring children into this world, you have to back them, no matter what. No matter what lifestyle they choose, whatever they choose, you don't have to agree with it sometimes, especially when they get older. You don't have to agree with it, but you need to be there for them. And if you can't be there for them, you shouldn't have them. That's really where I stand.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those things that is like a lot of people will just agree to just disagree. And I think from what you're explaining, it sounds like for me, upbringing has a lot to do with it. Because of your upbringing and how you've mentioned this quite a lot, that safe haven that is being created for you, it's really framed your mindset, and obviously that will reflect on you. And then maybe for somebody else who, for example, like Gade, like the way that he kind of experienced with his family, I felt like that was really reflected on his opinion, and obviously the way that he received a lot of the words that was said and a lot of the opinions and views.
So it was very triggering for Gade and Brandon.
Very triggering, yeah.
The aftermath, everything, and even all the comments. It's quite triggering for them because this is just a topic for us, but it's their life. So when you sit there and say, oh, you're capping, you're not speaking the truth. No, I'm speaking sensitively because I understand that there are people there that this is their real life struggle. And I'm not trying to add to anybody's trauma by speaking about a topic like this lightheartedly. We're not talking about the color of a dress here. We're talking about people's lives, people's struggles, what people go through every day. Do you understand? So there's a different, there's a way you actually go about those kind of conversations.
Yeah, 100%. But I kind of felt like in the beginning when the debate started, you was raising some points, and Emmanuel was kind of like, especially when you came with the whole deceitful thing, and people really took that, and he was like, no, hold on, like I don't want you guys to get what she's saying, take the wrong end of a stick for it, and he was backing you, and then it kind of switched. And then I kind of was like, okay, like, but then later, you kind of threw him in the lines then.
When I tell you that I asked, because I know he's a strong Christian. So him saying, I accepted and believe, I'm saying, what does that mean? What does that mean? When I tell you that I asked him that wedding question because I thought he was going to say yes.
Really? So in your head, you was like, so in your head, was you trying to like...
So quickly, I was like, yeah, it's a lion's den. I was like, no, this guy did not just say no.
Wow.
I couldn't help him any further. I mean, honestly, I get where he's coming from. And if I had the chance to state that, like, I know where you're coming from. Everything you're saying to me is not new. I live in an African household. Like, my parents don't understand homosexuality. But they will if they had to. That's my point. So I'm going to give you guys a little exclusive. So me and Iman walked home together. Like, he walked me to the station at the end of that episode. And he asked me to call my mother and put her on speakerphone and ask her if I was a lesbian, would I come to the wedding? And I did. So I said, hi, mommy, how are you? If I was a lesbian, random question, if I was a lesbian, would you come to my wedding? She said, oh, is it necessary to expose that kind of lifestyle? That's what she said. Like, she was trying to say, is it necessary to have a wedding if you're a lesbian? So the man started saying, you see? So I was just like, okay, wait, Iman. I had to get my mom off the phone. And
let her land.
You get, like, do you see that it's not a straight no? She's asking questions.
Okay.
That's what I expect from a parent. I don't expect no, I'm not going to come because it's not my belief. Your belief can't trump the love for your child. And don't expect a straight no. I expect questions to come. So obviously, I'm a 28-year-old woman and I'm very, very close to my mom. She's my best friend. So obviously she knows I'm not gay. So she knows it's hypothetical. But in a situation where I'm a 16-year-old and I'm actually going to have this conversation with my mother, it's going to be a question and answer session. Do you understand? It's not going to be a straight off no, a straight off I disown you. It's going to be, why do you feel the need to have a wedding if you're a lesbian? Like, that was the first question. Why do you feel the need? I would have better answers if that was my lifestyle. Do you understand? I would be able to have that conversation with her, and that's what you're supposed to do as a parent. Maybe because of the way I was raised. I mean, I saw a question here. I saw somebody write here that once a child is an adult, you don't have to be there for them anymore. I'm an adult, and my parents are there for me 100%. So I don't know. The way we do it in our family is your parents look after you till you get to an age and you start looking after them. That's how we do it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we never stop backing each other. That's just how it is. So
I think upbringing definitely has like a major part in the way that you're framed to view certain things in life and address certain topics. Because I think, like, if you come from a very close-knit family, ultimately your view would be different. It's like, well, we talk in our family, like we address certain things.
Like, we don't hide anything from each other in our family. We're not sneaky, we're not deceitful. I remember when I was younger, I used to have friends that used to post like really sexy pictures online, and I used to be like, would your parents see that? Like, I used to be like, would your parents see? Like, aren't you worried that they'll see it? And they'll be like, my parents, they're not going to look there. And I was like, it's me or it's my uncle that will first see it. They send it to my dad, they send it to my mom. Like, we know everything that's happening in our kids' life. Everybody, it's a bit overbearing sometimes. It can be, but that's just how it is. That's how we show love. And I feel like I'm probably going to be like that with my kids as well. Like, I'm going to be all up in their business. all up in their business.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think it's important. So that's crazy. Thank you for sharing that little exclusive with us. And also, you know, the fact that when you posed him that question, you didn't expect it to turn left.
I didn't. I was
yeah.
trying to back the man. I was trying to back him. That's why I asked him that question, because everyone was on him when they were. So I said, "Would you go to the wedding?" And then he said no. I was like, "Oh." I was like, no, that wasn't the answer.
So how is it when you on set? Like, do you know what the question is going to be?
Nope.
Okay. And then do you process? Because sometimes I feel like when questions are read out, sometimes like someone will just quickly come out and it's like, have you processed the question? Like, do you have time to process?
I don't think you'll ever watch an episode where I jump in to answer a question immediately. I sit down for a while.
Yeah, and even in the last episode, I saw you did as well. Like, it's kind of really like taking time, and you were like, okay, hold on, what's the question again? Or how old is the child? And obviously, that is like showing signs that you're actually processing. Whereas some other people, they're just literally like, boom, 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 and you're like, have you had time to process? And I suppose maybe it goes back to what you were saying earlier, that people you shoot for a specific amount of time. And I guess people have watched Backchat and they kind of know what it's about now. Like, people will watch individuals and like, this person was too quiet, this person was outspoken like that, and everyone feels like I have to speak, even if they say nonsense. It's like they're in their head, they're just thinking, I just have to be outspoken, I just have to speak.
Yeah. But I don't want to be outspoken and just say rubbish. I want to actually understand the question that I'm answering so that I can say the right thing. You know?
Yeah. 100%. Somebody showing me love here, Melon Magic. ADEFOLAKE is my favorite cast member already. Guys, make sure that you pick up some questions.
Love you.
I'm gonna pick up some questions soon, so keep them coming, keep the comments coming, put the questions in there, and then we'll read out some questions as well. Okay, so do you know one of the videos that I saw, it was on your Instagram, like, you guys, everybody's on set, like, even if they're not actually on the topic that day. So do you guys get called in all at the same time then?
So well, while I was filming, they called us all in at the same time all the time, but sometimes they call some of the people that they know are going to be in the episode, because they try to bulk shoot it. Yeah. So they'll be like, "You're going to be in 3 episodes today, so you stay behind. You're going to be in the next one, so wait behind." That's how they do it. So we've got 2 dressing rooms on either side. So the boys are waiting on one side, the girls are waiting on one. I mean, we mix up sometimes, but yeah, that's how it usually works. So there were people in the rooms listening. If you watched that episode to the end, you'll see that some cast members filming.
Yeah. So when they did like the aftermath, and I seen some people bringing out their phones, their cameras, I'm just like, is this a setup? Because are you just trying to catch this for the ground? Because if I'm seeing people that are like really coming for it, I'm
a lot of the people on set are content creators. They have cameras in their hand all the time.
It's a crazy world, man. Like, the first thing, if you're about to see a fight, the first thing you think of doing is getting your phone out. That's wild.
It's wild. It's wild. And we didn't know each other. That was one of the first
things. Okay, so you didn't know any of the cast members?
We didn't know each other. People meant nothing to us at that point. Do you understand? So it was just like no one was really friends with anyone. If we did the episode now, it would be a bit different because we know each other a bit more. We've gone through things, but we don't know each other while we were sitting down there, you know.
Mm-hmm. So is there anybody that you feel like, and you mentioned some of the people that you kind of get on with that you didn't think that you would get on with? Is there anybody that you just like, we just don't click, man? Like, we just don't, they're not my type of people?
Me personally, I think that's why everyone kind of just they called me the mum of the group. Like, I'm kind of like cool with everybody. I've been working with people for a long time. I've come across so many different characters from being a producer, TV producer. So I kind of know how to manage characters. And I can be a peacemaker. I'm not saying I never fought to. Like, I mean, I had my fights once in a while. But I wouldn't say there's anyone that I don't. Maybe one person, but
Yeah.
maybe one person.
You sound like you don't want to say. What is it about? What is it about?
We didn't see eye to eye for a while. I'll just say that.
Okay.
I'm not going to say
So,
who it is. I'll say it's a girl. That's all I'll say.
Have you ever seen this thing? I think it's on Instagram where they're like, tell me that you're okay, let's say tell me that you're female without saying that you're female. So tell us this person without telling us the person. See if we can kind of get the gist of who it might be. Guys, drop in the comment if you like your guessing. I've got.
She loves ball gowns.
She loves ball gowns.
You see her in a ball gown, sitting in the kitchen in a ball gown.
Is this something that you don't get on with, or you get on with now?
Oh, we're cool now, but we had our tiffs during this season. I mean, I don't know how she feels about me, honestly. I'm cool with her. If she's fighting me, I mean, I'm not fighting her. I'm not fighting her.
Okay. So I don't know if you've seen the
Everyone's
comments.
trying to make their guesses on who it is.
Yeah, people are making their guesses. Has anybody made any right guesses?
Somebody has made a right guess. But I'm not going to say the person's name.
Yeah.
Someone
has made a right guess. Oh. Okay. I mean, you said there's 10 people, right? So I can imagine how intensive like it can be in there. Like is the kitchen big or is it small or what?
It's like an open plan kitchen. So they move up the living room couch, so it's an open plan kitchen. So where the chair is where the living room would be. Where the chairs are.
Yeah. Okay. So how is the treatment then, like overall, like being on the show from?
What? I didn't get your question.
How is the general treatment, like being on the show? Like, do you guys get what when you're on set? Like, do you guys have specific breaks? Do you guys give lunch? Do you get a fan? Because sometimes people be sweating up in there.
It's really, really long hours. We get a break. We get breaks because we're not in every episode. So if you're not in every episode, you get a break when other people are shooting, and then we also get a full cast break. It's really organized. We finished on time every single time. Everything moves swiftly according to plan. The only thing I don't like is that you never know when you're in the next episode. Like they literally.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, how do you know? Like, do you know before, like, which episode you're going to?
You've got 15 minutes. They'll be like 15 minutes. This person, this person, this person, and this person on set. So you have to always be ready. Wow. Just have to always be ready. So,
do you know what?
But I understand why they do these things.
Very fast paced, very you have to be switched on all the time. Well, that's good to hear though, because I know you mentioned in one of your videos when you did the process, like the whole process of the auditioning and everything, it was very professional when you went there. There was a lot of people, a lot of content creators and YouTubers, but it was very professional. It's good to know because supporting Black content is something that I'm just on at the moment, and it's nice to know that they're really trying to push Black excellence as well.
Yeah, like have you seen Blue Therapy? Like that's like top-notch quality. It's the same production company that's doing it. Like BKCHAT is on a proper production team. Do you understand? It's not just a wishy-washy show. It's not just a YouTube show. Like it's a proper production. Do you understand? So yeah. I didn't realize that until I went to the audition. When I went to the audition, I was like, oh, all right, this is legit. This is like proper. Then I really wanted to get it. Before it was just like, oh, let me just go and see if I get it. But after, I was like, oh, I really want this. Like, I really want to get this job because I think this would be a great. I felt like I was in good company too because there were a lot of like minds at the audition, and it was very organized, and I hadn't done a lot of on-screen work this year or in London really ever. So I really wanted to get out there, maybe in London, and see if like London could be as fruitful as Lagos was for me, because I call myself the Brunei, you know, so British and Nigeria. So why not conquer? Like, I want to do things in both places. So I was like, okay, Snapchat might be a good start.
It definitely is, because it's popping right now. I think it died down for a bit, and I think this season it's really, really coming back. And one of the things that you were saying as well is a lot of people are in debate whether the new faces are working or not. I mean, I think the new faces are great, to be honest. I think seeing the old faces again, it would kind of be like, this adds a little bit more flavour, and the conversations are getting really good. Like, from last week, I'm now waiting, like, excited about what the next topic is going to be. So yeah, I think that's good. Is there any season that you would have wished to be in?
Pardon?
Is there any previous season that you would have wished to be in, or like, oh no, I could fit into that class?
So, you know, I watched from season 1. Season 1 was my favorite. Season 1 was my favorite season. And I wanted to be on that cast so bad. But now that I'm thinking of it, I don't think, no, I wouldn't have wanted to be on that cast. I think I'm on the perfect cast for me.
Okay. And is there any, because you're not, so you're not on every episode, right? Is there any episode that you watch like, oh, I would have liked to be on that question, like my points for that, you were like, no.
The producers know exactly what they're doing. When they picked us, they knew what topics they were going to put us in. Trust me. They didn't make, for me personally, I was in the episodes I was supposed to be in. That's one thing I always just take my hats off, like, damn, these guys know what they're doing. Like, they always put us in the right, like, always put me in the right episode. I know some other people had some questions like, oh, I should have been in that episode. Oh, why didn't they put me in that episode? You know, I remember some people that, but for me, it was never that, like, you know, let me not, I nearly gave a spoiler of one of the episodes. But there was one episode that, I almost said it. There was one episode they did, and I was sitting backstage like, oh, thank God I was not in that, because I would have nothing to say. Yeah.
I think you can tell though, like, there's some people that I feel like just drown, man. They just drown, like, they just don't know what, like, they're really quiet, and you're like, you need to speak or say something. And I think maybe it's just because they maybe can't relate to the question, or they just don't have an opinion, like a strong enough opinion. And I think you can definitely tell. Say that again.
Or they can't shout.
Yeah. I know. Someone was like, yeah, we should go on Backchat, and I was thinking, yeah, my voice will get drowned, or like, no, my small voice is just.
My parents, like, when I told them I was going on Backchat, they were like, would they let you speak? I was like, don't worry, I'll speak. I'll find my way.
You find a way.
Even if I have to say, I don't want to speak.
I know, man. I think I would definitely be used to like, hello, but I don't want to speak. And you even had to stand up and everything. That was epic. That was epic. So
not that I'm any different height when I stand up.
Oh, girl, don't worry. I understand. we're not that far height wise. And it can be quite intimidating, because you're like, don't you think because I'm small, yeah, that I don't have a voice?
Exactly.
And I loved even
on the edge of my chair. I'm like, I would jump up any second now, let you people know that I'm here.
Wow. Okay, so someone said, let's have a look at some of these comments.
Okay.
So if you guys have questions, drop your questions for ADEFOLAKE so she can answer them before she goes. Get them in. No questions right now. I prefer to have fresh face. I think fresh faces are good. They take names out of a hat. Is that true?
No, they don't. They know They know who they're putting in every episode. They think
there
about
you
it.
Have it. They don't take names out of a hat, guys. They know what they are doing. Short women are always the loudest.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh my God.
My voice is 6'5".
Right? You're a giant inside, man. That's why I think definitely good for the show. So, is there anything that you can tell us that we could be expecting? It's getting quite heated. Like,
if you guys are interested in extra content, there's a lot of extra content. I'll tell you that. So extra content from Trend Central, and also extra content from cast members. Like I said, we're all content creators, so we've been meeting up behind the scenes and doing our own little things as well. So if you're interested in that, there's a lot of that.
so is that planned then? Because I've been seeing a lot of the cast members coming together and doing videos. I know some of them knew each other, but is that kind of like planned, or is it just like, oh, let's just?
It's not planned. We're just like, oh, I have this idea. I think you'll be good for it, because you know we've spent some time together. So like, oh, I have this idea. I think you'll be good for it. Can you meet up at this place? And if you can make it, you can make it. If you can't, you can't. It's that.
Yeah.
You know, the YouTube world is pretty much like that. You know, the same way we DM'd each other for this collaboration. We just reach out to people and say, oh, are you interested in this? Because we're kind of all like minded. Part of the reasons why when I went to the audition, I really wanted it, because I realized that a lot of the people there were like minds, creators and stuff. So I was in good company, and yeah, so I enjoyed that about this cast. That's why I say I feel like I'm in the perfect cast.
Yeah. So a question about the episode, do you feel like the episode was so heated and explosive because there were playboys on the cast, or was it because what Emmanuel said?
Do you think it was heated because of what?
Because there were 2 gay guys on the show, so it was more personal. You know what I mean? Like, so because it became very. So if, for example, if nobody was gay on the show, do you think it would have been as heated?
It wouldn't have been as heated. We would have had a discussion on views. That's what would have happened. I would have stated my views. He would have stated his views. Everybody would have said their point. But because it, you know, obviously this was people's real life, so they got emotional, and it became, how can you say this? How can you say that my sexuality is unfortunate? You know, he used the word unfortunate.
Yeah, so that was another word. Yeah,
it became personal to him. So I think that's why it got heated, and then it became don't point at me, don't touch me, don't do this, and then they had to call cut.
Yeah. So how does it cool down then? Like, because from when they showed, like, it got really, really like heated, and I think there's more of that coming as well from the trailers. Like, how does it cool down? Like, do they just get split up and get put into different rooms, or because even when I saw some extras from you guys, snaps and things like that, it was still happening behind backstage.
So I mean, I don't know how much I should say. I don't know how much I could say. These are people's real emotions, and people really got hurt and upset on that set. So but what I will say is that Iman meant no harm. He wasn't trying to offend anybody with the things he was saying, and he just wanted them to know that he wasn't trying to offend, even though they did take offense. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen when these topics are brought up. It's really bound to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Someone asked. Yeah, and also someone said, how do you drop a question? You just put it in the comment section and then I'll pull it up. What does pandering mean? Because I actually don't even know myself. Yeah, that's the second question that I've seen.
It's obviously slang, Roadman UK slang. I'm not really that acquainted.
Was the cause pandering, and then also why the NK pandering? What does pandering mean, by the way?
Pandering.
If someone can explain that, and then we'll come back. Iman said Iman never said he would turn his back on his child. He simply said he wouldn't attend the wedding. That was what was hard about that to understand. Pandering isn't a slang. What is pandering? What does it mean? Can somebody explain?
Okay, then what does it mean? Sorry, Bella.
I can't help either. And if anybody has any questions specifically to ADEFOLAKE as well, like drop them in and then we'll get them.
They said, what did he say? Iman said, oh, for me, I feel like not attending is kind of turning your back, personally.
Yeah.
Just outright saying no, that is a bit, you're turning your back with your actions.
Which you explained in depth of that earlier. Yeah. So how you feel like you've done so far, like on the show? Like, did it meet your expectation?
Watching it back is different from being there. It's very intense. Sometimes it's a bit cringy, I can't lie. But I think that I've said everything I've said is I've been true to myself. Like if I went on there and I was playing up or acting out, then I would feel like a bit weird about the whole thing. But because everything I said was like real, like if I go back, I'd probably do the exact same thing again because I was just being exactly myself. Oh, being biased and to not get cancelled by the alphabet community.
Do you feel like
so
cast members are doing that?
So I don't think that. I feel like I should speak for myself. So I was not doing that. I believe that when you're talking about topics like this, you have to be sensitive. My views on this on homosexuality has changed a lot over the last 5 years, and I have a really close friend who recently came out, and I knew the struggles that she went through in coming out as well. So in going through that, like I'm literally speaking from experience, because when she first started coming out, I used to use words like you're going through a phase and when is this phase going to end and what are you doing and stuff like that. And I know how it affected her and affected our relationship. I needed to get on board and understand in order for us to maintain our friendship. This is just a friend. So now imagine that this is your own child. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So I wasn't, this was really how I felt. And when I asked him that question and he answered it in that way, I was genuinely shocked because I was just like, oh snap. So like, where do we even go from here? I knew that the boys were heated. I knew that God and Brandon would get in, it was bringing up trauma for them because this is trauma for them. Do you understand? So
okay. Can you be sensitive to both sides of the argument?
The thing is, yeah, so that is one thing. Everything Iman said is not new to me. Like I said, like I come from an African household. This is the way of our culture. This is the way people from where I'm from think generally. But the reason I respect Emmanuel a lot for standing his ground and not allowing anybody to shake his beliefs. At the same time, I try to talk to him and be like, you can't be so rigid when we're talking about your offspring, when we're talking about your child, And I feel like I'm repeating myself because I feel like I've said this so many times, but we're talking about your child here. So your beliefs shouldn't trump the love of your child. And people are saying, oh, it's just a wedding. A wedding is a big deal in a person's life because after a wedding, you're married. You're going into somebody else's home. You need to feel safe in that home. You need to be given away properly. If you're not given away properly, how is that marriage supposed to work? Family is huge for me, like huge for me. I think I wouldn't have a wedding if my family is not attending. I won't go through with it.
If they don't agree.
Yeah, if they're not attending and if they don't agree, then I'm not having a wedding. And that's actually like, that's what you are insinuating by not attending the wedding. You're basically saying they shouldn't do it, and you're basically now saying your child shouldn't have love. That's how I see it. So then
would you say for that child, like that 16-year-old boy, if he knew that his parent didn't agree, so then should he not have the wedding until he kind of builds that bridge with his father, let's say, or should he just go ahead?
So that's now coming to a point where you're living your life for your parents. Do you understand?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would a parent want to put their child through that.
Some parents do that, like that's the reality. Like I know a Nigerian and a Ghanaian couple, and their parents did not agree of them to be together, and they actually ended up leaving the relationship because it was just too much. Like it just got to a point where they were like, we just can't be together. And I think that's just the reality of some cultures and some households. And I feel like
that's how a lot of people miss their blessing.
Say that again.
How a lot of people miss their blessing. It's unfair.
It is definitely unfair. And I think that's from what you were saying earlier about sometimes we also have to speak to our parents and be like, okay, your ways, I think you need to listen to us as young people, because we live in two different worlds and two different eras. And it's like you can't project your life or opinion on me and make me live through your lens. Like this is how we are living our life. Like this is how I feel. This is my mood. This is what I'm going through. But to me, it's a journey. Like I feel like you can't blame nobody. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the way that parent grew up, and this is the way that this child is growing up. And it's like if they're both willing to go on the journey, I think that's perfect. But it's just going to be tough because a lot of people, especially for Africans and Jamaicans, they go through that where, especially with education, my parents want to be a lawyer, a doctor, and it's a fight. So can you even imagine a relationship?
When did we all become so okay with this, the way our majority of our African households and our parents are? When did we become okay with that? We've always not liked it as kids. We've always not liked it and thought that our parents were too strict and too rigid. Now we're getting to the age of having kids and we're becoming the same thing.
Yeah.
Can you not see?
I think we definitely become a lot more open-minded, definitely, than our parents. Yeah. And also, I think parents are also learning as well, because there's so many things that they have to get into, like with our world, social media and things like that. Like they are being forced to be open-minded because this is the generation that we're in. It's a social media generation, so it's pushing them to be open-minded as well. Someone says, would you let your child change their gender? Dun, dun, dun.
Gender dysphoria is a huge topic in itself, and the struggles that come with gender dysphoria is just so, and that's a lifetime of struggle, because in terms of changing your gender, if you speak to a lot of transgender people, even after all the surgeries, and it doesn't really fix how they feel inside. So I'd be more worried about my child's psyche than anything else, personally.
Okay, fair enough.
Like I can't answer that question with a yes or no answer.
Yeah, I don't think it's a straightforward answer. Someone says, by telling your parent, especially an African parent, that you're gay is an extremely hard thing to digest. He can only accept his child's sexuality to an extent, which is what he meant. Jerry X says, hi, don't you think it's confusing that NK became the most hysterical and triggered by England's views than Gade and women who are gay themselves? I mean, do we have any other ways in the group? Because it seemed like some people were maybe suggesting certain things.
So I was so NK straight. He's never come out as gay. So NK straight. Do you understand? He did mention, I don't really want to tell other people's stories, but he did mention in the clubhouse that when he was in secondary school, a very close friend of his committed suicide after coming out.
All right.
So I think
that's
because also it was very triggering for him also. So I think that's where the passion was coming from.
There you have it, guys. if that answers the question. Obviously, MK is not here to speak for himself, but thank you for showing us, because actually I'm not even on Clubhouse because I think you need an iPhone to be on there. So what goes down on there? Give us it for those who are not on there. Tell us a little bit about how that works.
So Wednesdays after the episode comes out, an hour after, so at 10 p.m. All castmates, most of the times all castmates come on Clubhouse. That's whether they were in the episode or not, to continue the conversation and to bring up audience members onto stage to give their 2 cents and ask cast members questions. So that's basically what happened, and a lot of people had those questions for NK, and he mentioned the suicide thing, which is terrible. Which is a terrible thing to go through when you're in secondary school. So, I mean, I feel that explains it.
100%, yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people were wondering, like, why is he so like triggered? Like, literally, I mean, just the way that he just approached the whole situation, it's like literally something like clicked or. But yeah, thank you for explaining that, because I think that's really important for us to know. And I think that's what interviews like this or like different setting is quite good for us to understand further, because when you watch the episode, you literally you're judging people based on what you're watching and what you see from that episode. And I think,
yeah,
for me, last week he did great. It was like, okay, cool, like the first time, and then this time it was just like, man, like what are you talking about? How can you be telling somebody to like just shut up, shut up, shut up? But then understanding further outside of that is really important. Say that again.
I mean, I don't like that he was telling Iman to shut up. I also don't like that Kodo was trying to catch out Iman, but then it's the passion. It's how they felt in the moment. Sometimes if you put a camera on you and you're having arguments with your friends and family members, you're not gonna like to watch it back either. It's just you know, it was real. That's why it was so intense to watch, because it was real.
So you know when you used to watch Backchat, right? Because you've been watching it since season 1. Did you ever question the shouting, or was it just like it never bothered you?
It never bothered me. It's like white noise to me, honestly.
Yeah.
It was like the shouting is silence to me, because I pick up, like I said, big house, big household. We always, when we're having living room conversations, Christmas, anything, our conversations can be so loud, people will think we're fighting, but we're just talking.
So that's just
households are like. So it's normal. Like the shouting doesn't really bother me. It doesn't get to me personally. But I understand when people say I don't like watching Backchat because it's loud. Like I get it. If that bothers you, it doesn't. For me, it just doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I mentioned that because I can imagine watching it and then being like, oh my gosh, like why they're shouting so much, and then actually being on the show and then understanding why they're having to shout, because it gets heated, you're in the moment, the cameras are there, and then like you said, in that 45 minutes or whatever, you actually have to make your point and you have to find a way to get your point out there. So from our perspective, we're like, bro, why are you shouting? But when you're in it, you understand it a little bit more, because it's like, nah, you actually need to get your point across. Like it's not like people just really shouting, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah, no, I understood that before even being there. That's why, remember, that's why they were asking me, are you sure you're going to be able to talk? Like, are you sure you're going to be able to get a word in? I was like, yeah, I'll be fine.
I'll manage. So Mela Magic says, are there any cast members who act completely different off camera?
Completely different. No. Everybody's just relaxed off camera. Just normal, just being chilled off camera, and then on camera it's like, okay, now we're discussing something, it's heated. Sometimes we have heated conversations in the dressing room that get heated as well.
Before you even get on the set.
Yeah. Before we get on set, we can have these heated combos. I have some of them on my vlogging camera. So yeah, it's just that's the way they are. That's why we got put on the panel. because that's who we are.
Yeah. So when you're in a confessional, like how like do you get asked a question and then all like obviously that's part of the editing, like that's how they know where to like place everything. But do you film the confessionals like everything like all in one day, or like how do you know what to say? Or
No, we're still filming confessionals. We haven't finished filming for Backchat.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just call us in and say, "Oh, we're filming the confessionals for this episode. Can you come into the studio to film it?" We don't even know what episode we're going to do until we get there. So,
oh really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So if anybody on here ever thought of going on there, then hopefully ADEFOLAKE has kind of given you a little bit of an insight of how it works. Definitely like go for it. Yeah. Any advice or anything that you want to throw in there for anybody?
Advice, like if they want to be on Backchat.
Yeah, or if they want to do something like similar, because you like you said earlier, you're a producer, you've done a lot of work in Lagos, you're a script writer as well. So this is kind of your area.
Okay, so I can give you Backchat advice. If you ever go for a Backchat audition, just be yourself. That's the best advice I can get. Be yourself, be respectful to other cast members and to the producers. That's another thing that I would say you should do. Because one girl, she probably would have made it, but she made a horrible comment about Lani and they just cancelled her name off.
Really?
So
did she get through and then she made a comment? Was this on set or
like before we were going, they were like, we'll email you and let you know if you've gotten the place. And she made like a weird comment, like, hope that Lani girl's not coming back, something silly like that. And I saw the judge, I saw the casting director like cancel off her name. I was like, oh just so be respectful to past cast members and to producers if you want to be on Backchat. Now, generally, in terms of content and stuff, advice I would give people if you want to go into that is start with what you have. Because one thing when I first started YouTube, I thought like I need this. I have the best camera, the best light, the best this before I start. But you know, you can actually make great videos with your phone, and you can use your phone. They're great editing apps. So just start with what you have. Don't procrastinate and say, oh, I don't have the best this and best that before you start. If you're a creative and you really are creative, you should be able to use what you have to do what you need to do. So that's my advice when it comes to content creating. And even if you want to be a presenter, like start doing things by yourself with your family and friends, road interviews as well. You know, just do as much as you can. Don't wait for anyone to give you an opportunity, because we live in a world where the opportunities are basically in our hands. So that's my advice for that.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. I always say like, create the opportunity that you always want. Like, don't wait for it to come. Create it. Someone says, is there going to be a reunion?
Oh, we don't know. We don't know if there's going to be a reunion. We're just as clueless as you are. We don't know when the episodes are dropping. We don't know what they're going to look like. I am just as much as a viewer as you are. I have no clue.
And is there an age limit to go on the show?
I think it needs to be 18 or over.
So do you know what the youngest and oldest age is?
I think the youngest person on set is 20. On the cast. Or 21. Shelby's 21. Is anyone younger than Shelby? I think Shelby's the youngest. She's 21. And I think Charlotte the oldest. Jessie might be the oldest. I think Charlotte or Jessie are the oldest.
How old are they?
Early 30s.
Okay.
So it's quite a range. So we've got from 20 to 30s.
Do you know what? That's good to know, because I feel like, you know, with black people, we just look so young. So like it just proper looks like it's a young cast compared to previous cast members anyway. But when you actually say people's ages, like, okay, there's a bit
You'll be
of
surprised.
diversity.
No, I have a baby face, but I'm 28, so I'm one
Same
of
as
the
me.
older ones
Like
in the car.
when I tell people
Yeah.
my age, they're really shocked. They're like, oh, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I know.
all the cast members, they thought I was like their age. They thought I was 20, 22, 23, like all the boys and everything when I first started. And when I was telling them I was 28, they were like, I remember when I told Enzo I was 28 and we were already like what, 4 episodes in. And we were hanging around and I told her I was 20. She was like, "What? You're just my age. What are you talking about? We're talking about something." And I was saying that my age, and you were like, "What are you talking about? You're just my age." I was like, "No, honey, I'm not your age. I'm 28." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." I just have like a baby girl energy, but then I also have a mature energy at the same time. Because when people talk to me, they think I'm older. And then, but when people just look at me, they think I'm younger, or when they just see me being playful.
Which is a good thing. So we've got diversity on this show, guys. So it ranges from 20 to 30. So which is good. Because then it makes me look at things different. I mean, you can definitely tell, like, you've got parents on there as well, which is really diverse. And you can tell where people are in their lives by the way that they say things and their responses and their views as well, which is really good. So someone says, how did she get work back in Nigeria?
So I started my YouTube channel. Okay, so I moved to Nigeria to do Nigerian law school and NYSC. So while I was doing my Nigerian law school, I mean, lawyer, I don't practice, and I knew I wasn't going to practice while I was doing law school because I just knew it wasn't for me. But I started doing my YouTube channel back there. If you go on my page, my YouTube channel dates back 4 years ago. That's when I really started in Lagos, and a production company saw my work on YouTube and they called me to host a show. I went in to host the show, and they were like, so they had this huge setup, and they didn't have a lot of staff. So I ended up producing the whole show myself and starring in it. So the guy was like, you know what, I actually need you for this channel. And that's how I became head of productions of that channel. And I just made loads of contacts working there. Worked there for 3 years, or 4 years actually. But the shows aired for 3 years. But I was working a year before anything ever aired on TV. So literally built it from scratch, from ground up. And I've made so many contacts in Lagos that even when I left that job, I was freelancing like so much, like through the contacts that I made from that job. So that's basically how it worked, how it happened out there for me.
Amazing. So is there anything from your kind of personal content creating that we should be expecting? Anything that you are writing at the moment, or does Backchat kind of take all of your time?
Oh no, not at all. I'm still working on my own stuff. So of course, my YouTube channel, self-titled ADEFOLAKE. If you subscribe to that, the easiest way to keep up with me as well is my Instagram. I always post what I'm doing on my stories, and my TikTok for just like, you know, the fun, quirky content. And I have a show, but see, the thing is, my show is on African Magic, and that's on DSTV in Nigeria right now. But I think it might come on Netflix. It's called First Time Mom. It's a TV series.
Yeah. So did you write and produce that?
So I'm a writer. So that's one of the freelance jobs that I've been doing since I've been in London. I'm a writer on that show. There's another one that should be coming out soon. I can't talk about it yet because we're still under contract, and it hasn't been produced yet. But and I'm still on second draft. But they've started like sourcing for funding, and that will be out soon as well. So yeah, just look out for my name in credits of Nollywood shows. And I'm also going to put out a short movie very soon myself as well. So yeah.
Amazing. That sounds really exciting.
Yeah,
so when you see something like
I'm open to that.
Say that again.
If I can get some presenting work as well, I'm 100% up for that too. Yeah, but I probably will start a show on my channel, like, because I like interviewing people. Like what you're doing now, that's actually what I enjoy doing more than being interviewed. Yeah. I like interviewing, listening to people's stories and stuff. So, and then I also like playing games. So I might do like do a show where maybe I'm doing like games and interviews with people on my channel. I'm thinking maybe along those lines. So yeah, that's thing to look out for.
That's
Just subscribe,
amazing.
follow, and you'll know, be able to keep up with everything that I'm up to.
Yeah, I'm gonna put her YouTube link in the description as well once I finish with the live and everything, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. So we'll give it another. Okay, we've got 1 minute, but I'll just take like a couple more questions, and then I won't take any more of your time. Someone says, "How did you find out you got the spot, and what were?" Say that again.
I'll say Mela Magic. She has a question.
Yeah, so Melamagic says, how did you find out you got the spot, and what were your reactions, happiness, anxiety, etc.?
So because I remember I said, like, when I went for the audition, I wanted it so much, so I had so much anxiety. I kept going like, I didn't get to talk about this. Oh my God, I should have said this, because we did like a mock debate. So I was like, oh, this is what I should have said in my debate. I kept thinking back, so I had anxiety before that. But then after, once I was told that I had it, just happiness, no more anxiety. I wasn't anxious anymore. I was like, this is mine. Because I know people probably don't think I'm the most religious person, which is true, but I have a very, very strong relationship with God. And I believe that what is mine is mine. So if I didn't get it, I wouldn't think about it. I would let it go. But as I got it, I was like, there's now no need to be anxious, because it's all in his hands. Like, he wouldn't have given it to me if it wasn't supposed to be my move. And that's how I take everything in life. So, yeah, no anxiety, just vibes.
Nah, I can imagine there is like, after you get it, it's like, yeah, that's it. So do you know, because this is your world, like this is what you're used to. Did anybody know who you were, or did anybody know what you've done on the show?
So the producers were aware that I had a TV background, but I didn't really tell anyone else, because it's they're very they know what's happening in the London scene. So the people on set that people knew were Gardel, Lani, J Squared, because they were on the show before. But those are the people that everyone knew. Those are the people that have a platform on the show.
Yeah.
As people got to know me, they were like, "Oh, you've interviewed David O. Oh, you've interviewed this person." I was like, "Yeah, I used to work at Enjoy." They were like, "How come you never told anyone?" I was like, I didn't feel the need to. I didn't feel the need to. I wasn't really there to talk about that. So people just kind of found that out later going on, that I have an experience in the industry. I feel like people felt it in the way that I was received.
Okay.
A lot of people were like, oh, I can see you on Good Morning Britain. I like the way you did it. And I was like, yeah, I can see myself on Good Morning Britain as well. I love that.
I hooked me up.
I was like,
I saw you've done you've done quite a lot of work in Nigeria, which is really good. But I suppose it's good as well that maybe people didn't know who you were, because then they don't come in prejudging you, or it's just like a random person,
It's like, not really their world. People knew my TikToks more than anything. That's what people. That's what people knew. They were like, "Oh yeah, I've seen your TikToks and stuff like that," more than anything. Because by TV presenting jobs, the work is hardly on YouTube. Most of it is on TV in Nigeria. And not a lot of people watch TV, so they wouldn't know.
Nice, amazing. I love that. Someone says, nice to hear the achievements. It is really, really nice. But yeah, it's been really, really refreshing. Like, I'm so happy that you came on. Because even before we had a conversation, I was like, right, I'd actually like to sit down with you and just talk about what happened, and talk about the show, and just get to know you a little bit more. And I'm glad that you came on and sat down with me. It's been really, really nice. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much, guys, for being interactive and your comments and your questions. ADEFOLAKE was born for this. This is why Backchat was great for her. So much love.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, episodes to come. Please look out for
I
it
know. I'm
every
excited to see
Wednesday.
the next episode. Is there going to be anything as explosive as last week, or is that as explosive as it gets?
I'm gonna tell you that.
Yes. This is just okay. Just yes or no.
I can't tell you.
Like a hint. Okay, give us a hint at least.
It's the topics have range. That's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
The topics have range. So look out for
topics has range, guys.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm not going to take any more of your time. I look forward to seeing you on screen again. And yeah, so we'll keep in touch. We'll keep in touch. I hope there's going to be a reunion. Because I'll definitely love. Yeah, right. Listen, when the reunion hits, yeah, I'm gonna be dressing up to do my review. Like I'm on there. Like I'm gonna be. I will buy a gown.
That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
And I'll just sit there with my little review, like.
Yeah, that's what.
Nice, good, man.
Since you've been doing reviews, like if there's a reunion, you should be on the carpet interviewing us, doing a live.
Oh wow!
That's what you should be doing.
Girl, speak that into existence.
Yeah, that's what
you never know, man. You never know. That'll be good. That'll be really good.
It would.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna put all of her. I'm gonna put her YouTube in the description, guys. Go ahead and check her out. YouTube. I've been watching your videos. Really good content on there. Instagram, TikTok. Go follow ADEFOLAKE, okay?
Yeah, go follow.
And like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Hit the notification bell. We're on the road to 5K, so let's do this. I'll speak to you guys. Yeah, I'll speak to you guys in my next video.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, Abby. I really enjoyed it.